Coach.
All right, peace, family. Sister Victoria X here, and we are doing something. I'm doing a little bit something different tonight. I have my three sisters here live with me. Let me turn it down. Have my three sisters live with me, and we are actually going to do kind of like an additional review or a commentary to the chapter that I read earlier. So just give me 1 second. As you know, I'm Sister Victoria X. I'm a work from home transition coach. I help mothers and wives transition from stay at home and working outside the home to working in the home and helping them to set up the foundation of their business. And the ladies are going to introduce themselves.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sister Taylor X.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Sister Naomi over at Change Views 19 on Instagram. I am the resident angelic healing facilitator where I help you heal yourself by connecting to your God and finding your trauma and pain and removing it.
You got a little ash on your knuckle, sis.
Yeah.
Come on. You're supposed to introduce yourself.
Your turn.
Can you hear us, Nadia?
Yeah.
It's your turn to introduce yourself, man.
Assalamu alaikum, family. My name is Sister Nadia, aka Black Majesty.
Okay, excellent. How does man get the link to join? Who gave Cass the link?
Who?
I don't know who Cass is, but they up in here and they finna get booted. Sorry, bruh.
How did somebody get the link?
Wow.
All right, so what we're gonna do tonight, actually, a little bit later, we I read chapter 13, Recognition of Your Dominant Gift. Inside of the book, The Law of Recognition by Mike Murdock, discovering the gifts, opportunities, and relationships that God has already placed in your life. So today, I'm actually going to reread, and then we're going to do the commentary as I read instead of just reading and then doing the commentary. So as you all know, we kind of just, speak when we get led to speak. So don't forget to go to victoriax.com and sign up for the class we're having tomorrow. And we're going to get started. And y'all just let me know when y'all want me to stop, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Everyone receives gifts from God. Few recognize their dominant gift. David recognized his dominant gift. He was more than a singer. He was more than a shepherd boy. He was a warrior and he knew it. That is why he recognized an opportunity for his gift to flourish when Goliath cursed his God. Joseph knew his dominant gift. He was more than an interpreter of dreams. In fact, the scriptures only document 2 or 3 occasions of it. His gift was uncommon compassion. That gift caused him to recognize the countenance of the butler and the baker in the prison. Their unhappiness was the golden hinge to his ascent to the throne. I love what my dear friend Sherman Owens always teaches. Listen to happy voices for encouragement. Listen to unhappy voices for ideas. Okay, I'm going to stop right there because that reminds me of... they said it was on your Facebook page. She said, okay. So that reminds me of like in business, right? When we try to figure out what different ways to... He's Brother D4X. Hey, Coach Sean. When we think about how to create content, right? We always go and we look at reviews. We go look at the negative stuff that people might have to say about someone else's products. We go look at just like any place that we get some kind of feedback. So that's what that reminded me of. You listen to the happy voices for encouragement to stay on 10, to stay encouraged, but you listen to those unhappy voices to get kind of like a direction of where to go and what spaces you need to create in.
Right. I definitely agree with that. The unhappy places, if we're being quite honest, is the experiences that people have had. And, we don't have to experience some things. We can just learn from it and then adapt properly. Right. And then, like you said, having your happy people around you for them to encourage. once they see your gifts, because some of us don't even know what our gifts are, but typically the people on the outside can actually see our gifts before we can see them. What you think, Taylor?
That's been happening to me all year long. I'll just be wondering. I'll be like, I don't see what y'all see, but people be seeing stuff that I don't be seeing.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to get the eyeballs that y'all got so I can see what y'all see and we can both see the same thing.
I think it's because like we know everything about us, right? And most people only know about the parts that they experience of us, right? And so usually those parts are really good because we don't tend to show people the other parts. But that's what it really is in my head. Like I know every single thing about me. I know all of my mishaps. And so when someone can see something in me that I can't necessarily see, it's because they don't know everything. And it might change if they knew everything, you know?
Absolutely. Settle on the best part. If we're really being quite honest, that's settling on the best part. That's looking at your brother and sister and really seeing the best in them. Because who wants to highlight the flaws? Yeah, we can highlight the flaws and in the private and have those conversations. But when you're out and you're among people and you're showing your gifts and your talents, your crowd around you wants to hurrah you on to build it up. But ultimately at some point we do look back at ourselves and say, okay, I can see how that can be. And I do have that gift. And I do possess that attribute that somebody said that I had.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I want y'all, if you're watching this right now, I'm going to end the Instagram. I think it hasn't been 10 minutes. But if you're watching this right now, comment, tag your friends, and please definitely share this out. And so we're going to get into the 14 facts you should know about your gifts and talents. So 1, Jesus wanted us to recognize that God gives wonderful gifts to us. 2, the Holy Spirit gives you all the gifts, talents, and abilities you possess. Number 3, the Holy Spirit gives different gifts to us relative to our assignment on earth. Mommy, when I think about that, it makes me think about like sometimes we are really good at things, and a lot of times we're trying to figure out what exactly our purpose is, right? And so if this is saying the Holy Spirit gives different gifts to us, and they all relate to our assignment here on earth, right? Then we can track our purpose by focusing in and digging deeper into what our gifts are.
Right. Hone in on your gifts. And
right.
And it literally puts you on your purpose, your path. If you sit still enough though, because sometimes we like to say, well, that's my assignment, you know what I'm saying? And then the guy keep on sending you person after person after person. To remind you of what you're good at and how you do things and how you have helped them. So it's almost like sometimes we deny our gifts. I don't know if it's because we just want to be normal or we think that people are not going to receive what we have. But I always think about how people didn't receive the prophets because God was connected to them. He gave them an assignment. He didn't ask them how they felt about their assignment. He simply said, this is your assignment, Noah, build an ark, right? This is your assignment, Moses. Go tell Pharaoh I said, let my people go. This is your assignment, Lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm literally finna destroy this entire town. Find me one person. One. And he couldn't find none. Or this is your assignment, Job. I'm going to lay all this stuff on you and let Satan tear you up, right? But you're not going to curse me, to my face. So it's like sometimes our assignments don't seem normal. And they're not supposed to be normal because they belong to us. You know what I'm saying? And it's just you stepping into your greatness and never mind what everybody else say in the crowd say. You have to know that your assignment is God's assignment and just walk in that. And he'll cover the rest.
Yes, he sure will cover down. Your gifts, number 4, your gifts were given to help men of God fulfill their instructions and vision from God. 5, your gift was imparted to you to solve problems for those closest to you. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due. when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Proverbs 3:27. I want to ask a question about that because it says, withhold not good from them to whom it is due. Right? So that means that you have to be tapped in to God enough to know who is due what, right? And then it says, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. It makes me think about charity, like giving to people, right? And how like I don't give unless I feel like led to give. Like I don't. Sometimes I used to feel sad about it, like, oh, that person really, they had a really good story. Well, not a good story, of course, but they had a story, and they probably y'all so silly. Um,
We know what you mean.
yes, right. And so, but in this it says that who is due, right? And so it's not all about the saddest story on the corner.
Nope.
When you're driving in your car, you know what I mean? But that's what that made me think about, how sometimes we'll withhold from people what they're due, and then when the consequence comes back on us, we have this wondering mindset of, why does this happening to me? But you knew you withheld something that didn't belong to you.
Right.
And then they didn't want to have anything else to add.
I was gonna say, not withholding stuff that's. Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say withholding something that's due to somebody. I think sometimes, and I'll just personally speak about the three of you all, right? And how we all came to be, sisters, and not just friends, but we're sisters. You know what I'm saying? Because I met you, Sister Victoria, because literally Allah put it on my mind to help you because you was going through something. And so I was like, I don't know how she gonna receive this, but God told me to do it. So boom, I reached out to you. You answered. Sister Nadia, she put a post up on her IG, and something hit me, said, say something to her. It's like listening to that inner spirit. So I used to withhold things, being afraid of how people would receive me.
Yes.
But I'm understanding now that when the God drops something on you and he shows you a person, or you can hear something, or he allows you to see something in their life, you have a duty and a responsibility at that point to step in and do what he told you to do. And then the same thing with you. I don't even remember the first day I reached out to you, but I just know I went straight to your inbox, and I said either she's gonna receive this or she's gonna reject it. However, I was given it to do, and so I didn't withhold it. I did it.
Yes, ma'am. He will literally make you sick when you don't obey the word.
Oh, yeah.
Like you won't be able to sleep. You won't be able to think. You'll have pains that you never had before. Because when you know and you recognize the voice of Allah and you decide to do other than, you're going to pay. You are going to pay.
It reminds me of what I was thinking in terms of.
You got feedback.
I didn't even consider that in terms of like family, but rather your neighborhood, community. Because Allah God gives us gifts, and a divine person literally embedded in code, and it would really be a disrespect to Allah.
You chopping up, Sister Nadia. Nadia. Yeah, you kind of choppy.
Oh, really?
Try to talk again. Silly.
Or mute yourself.
Peace, Anthony. Peace, D4X. Thank you all for tuning in. Okay. Do you have your phone on? Maybe move your phone away from your computer. Oh, okay. You are muted. You're muted.
Is that better?
It's a little bit better. Go ahead.
It's bad.
You're not talking, so we can't tell.
Okay, well, I was just saying, it reminded me of Allah's purpose in us, right? Like it's embedded in our genetic code, what He put in us to reveal. So when He said you have to share it with those closest to you. I mean, I didn't even consider family, but rather on a level of like your community, your nation, your neighborhood. If you do not share the gift and the purpose that Allah has put inside of you, it is literally a disrespect. I feel like all of us have had those moments where, like Sister Naomi was talking about, the feeling of like hesitation and uncertainty, right? Because it's a lack of belief in self. But it comes
Mhm.
down to a question of, do you believe that Allah God is who we say He is? Because if He is, then obviously all of His creation was created with purpose. And if we are, which we are at the highest of His creation and have dominion over all things, then what He has called us to is greater than anything we ever see. So it is only right that we share that with those around us. That we do what we're called to do, because if we hold out on it, like we're disrespecting Him, we're disrespecting the deep inside of us, and we're not showing the love that is necessary to spread to our brothers and sisters, even on a national level.
All right, you better teach, girl.
Yeah. And then, did you have something to add, Sister Taylor?
Nope.
Yes, ma'am. Number 6, when your dominant gift becomes your seed in the lives of other, God. Actually, I did have something else to say, right? Because when Sister Nadia was talking about, and she was talking about how our gift was imparted in us to solve the problems of those closest to us. When does the giving of the gift to those closest to us become too much? Like, what's that line between you are giving to serve and then now you just getting exploited?
Hmm.
Or is there a
Well,
line?
I do think that there is a line because we're taught in scripture that Allah does not help a people unless they help themselves, right? So we are the help in a sense because He sends us to our family, or He sets us as an example. But if the same problem continues to happen over and over and over again, despite the help that you're giving, then that becomes misuse and abuse. You see what I'm saying? And there has to be a line drawn because there are always boundaries that are set up. I mean, we don't see anywhere in scripture where there wasn't a boundary that was set. The prophets had to do so much. And then Allah God set the boundary and was like, okay, no more, servant. You did what you were supposed to do. Now it's up to the people to do what they're supposed to do now that you have given them the knowledge. So after we have given the clear message, because that's our assignment, give the clear message. And it's not anything else after that because you cannot jump in a person's body and make them submit to what the guy gave them through you. So if they want it, they'll take it and they'll move out on it. If they don't want it, they want to remain the same. It ain't on your hands no more. It's like once your job is done, you get to wash your hands clean. But the problem comes in is when we don't do our job. But I set boundaries because you're not gonna suck up my energy and my life source. Absolutely not.
Ma'am.
I'm gonna give you what you need and I'm gonna help you a couple times. But after that, nope, not doing it.
Yes, ma'am. Um, Number 6, when your dominant gift becomes your seed in the lives of others, God guarantees to generously compensate you, knowing that whatsoever good thing any man doeth, the same shall he receive of the Lord, whether he be bond or free. Ephesians 6 and 8. Peace, Raphael. It makes me I keep saying it makes me think about I feel so robotic. But in reading that, like sometimes I hear or will say that we'll find ourselves in positions or places where we're like stagnant. You know what I mean? We don't have, or we're not where we believe we should be. And then this makes me think about, like, if you are not where you believe that you should be, then it's time to look at the work that you've put in, because He says in His word that whatsoever thing a man doeth shall he receive. So if you have not received, then you got to check on what you have not done.
Right. My mom used to always say, and she say, to whom much is given, much is required. It's like the laws of nature. As things flow out, things flow in. As you give, you receive. And I always say this: what we aren't willing to give ourselves, we can't give anybody else, right? So same thing, Allah gives us gifts, and what we aren't willing to share, He's not willing to share anything with us because we don't have any reason outside of being a servant for Him to be living. He does not have need of us. You know what I'm saying? We
Exactly.
have need of Him to fulfill a purpose. And if you don't fulfill your purpose, if you don't help people, then you absolutely cannot expect for Him to give you something. That's it. Really, to be honest, it's in gratitude that He places something so divine in each one of us that we don't want to cultivate it and we don't want to share it with somebody else. It's like hiding your light under a bushel basket. He gave it to you for you to shine it, so shine it. So when people say, well, I didn't get this and I didn't get that, I always say, well, what have you done? What have you done, or what have you failed to do? Because see that right there? The failed to do part is what holds Him from giving us stuff majority of the time. Because we just want people to give to us, but we don't want to give it to nobody else. It don't work like that. That's not how the laws of nature work. He does not function outside of the laws of nature. So, you have to be able to give in order for you to receive. You have to be able to bestow on other people what you want bestowed upon you. That's just how it works.
Yes,
And that
ma'am.
goes for business. I was thinking how a lot of times our there's this like lack of patience. Like, well, I'm not making this money. I'm looking at everybody else making this money and all. It's like, okay, well, how much value have they added to the people? How much value have you added to the people? They see that you're consistent. Can we trust you?
Right.
That you ain't doing this for a little bit, then you gonna hop out, And a lot God tests us in the same way. Like, if I say I want this, but the second that there comes a trial and friction, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Then it's like, how serious are you? What are you able to suffer for? You know what I mean? Like when you guys are all wonderful mothers. You have months, like not a bad, of growth. You need to be able to produce, and then after 9 months, go through excruciating hours to bring them forth in life. At any point, if there was some form of quitting of giving up, be it on the life form inside of you or even your gave up on yourself. Just like I refer to my business as a baby. I be trying to keep up with them because they got 500 kids all between them. I'd be like, yeah, I got my little baby right here. So, Black Majesty is my baby, It takes months to of a working skill producing, and then you have friction and trials that come about. But if it wasn't for that, would you even have been able to bring forth a beautiful child if you didn't go through that? And in every sense of life, like what Sister Naomi was saying.
Yes, ma'am. And we have to create more of a culture of comparing the work and not the reward. We like to compare our reward based on what someone else's reward is, right? But we'll overlook that work and real quick. Like, I don't want to know what they did to get it. I just want to get what they got. And so I would challenge us to start thinking about, like, if you want something that someone else has, not like, oh, I want to steal it, but I'm inspired to have that same thing, then you gotta reverse engineer that thing. I have 1,000 posts on my social media. They have 10,000. Okay, I need to create 9,000 more pieces of content, right? So we have to. I think part of it is everyone being more encouraging of just getting the work done.
Yep.
Because as long as you keep your head down and produce, right? As long as you keep your head down and produce, the reward's gonna come anyway. But when you focus on the reward and not the work, then the reward never comes. Sister Nadia done dipped on us. She'll be back. She'll be back. So
Sister Nadia, like who? Me?
I mean, Sister Naomi, all these ends. I ain't never had so many
What I
sisters
was
with
saying,
ends.
the thought just occurred to me in the sense of when I was picturing pregnancy and even referring it in terms of child, I didn't even think to consider it for those of people who have not started business, when that connects to the picture of a child and they're like, where is my purpose, right? That's work Bob in the ABS tribe, then pointed out, like, you don't find your purpose, you discover it. So I was thinking, even on the level of your purpose is like a child, because it's something that develops over time. And sometimes, from my understanding, you can go months and not even know you're pregnant, or weeks, or whatever have you, right? And so you look and find it, and your purpose is something that you have to discover and also feed for it to grow. The blessings, Sister Naomi.
Exactly.
Girl.
Pop up like Sister Naomi.
That's spookism, right? That's spookism. We want a whole baby to grow, but ain't fed it nothing. So so I'm gonna move to number 7. Oh, sorry. I was looking at the wrong screen. So number 7, few ever recognize their dominant gift. This explains why millions live life unrewarded for the gift they contain. Nothing is more tormenting than living life uncelebrated for the difference within you. 8.
Yeah, can I add something on that?
Yes. Thank you.
Oh my God. Do we realize how many people go around living their life like in mediocrity? And you have a God that gave you something that he wants to be seen. And it always reminds me of this world and how it makes people who are different seem like something is wrong with them. And nothing is wrong with you. And if you think about everybody in the scriptures, they were very different. They possessed something that nobody else possessed. And the guy was literally talking directly to them, right? This world will have you to believe that Allah don't talk directly through you, that you got to go through somebody, pastor such and such, minister such and such, whatever, and you don't have a direct connection with him, right? And I'm saying this, but I'm talking to myself at the same time, because this was my battle. I'm 35, and this has been my battle, but now it's not my battle no more, because I made a decision that I am different. And the reason why I am different is because Allah made me with my own combination, right, of attributes that he gave me, just like he did it for everybody else. And there is something very specific that I'm supposed to do that he didn't get on nobody else. And at this point, I don't care, because you ain't my guy. I pay it no, never mind. If I tell you that he sent me to you, well, guess what? He sent me to you. You either gonna receive that or you gonna decline it. And not my monkey, not my zoo, because I did my due diligence. So most of us right now are walking around with some amazing gifts. Some of us have the gift of sight. Some of us have the gift to be able to pass thoughts on to other people. You know what I'm saying? Project our thoughts. Some of us are very, very creative with our hands. I mean, the multitude can go on and on and on and on. But when we shift our attention, our focus on what people have to say instead of what the God that thinks and believes about us, then that's when we set ourselves up in the wrong position. So being different is good. That means you're being yourself. If you're different from everybody else, it means you have accepted your own and you are being yourself. So I didn't accept my own to be myself. So I pray that everybody else finds that comfort, but that also comes with having faith in Allah, that he has you covered. Because when you really start stepping into your greatness, Satan will literally pop up in the form of people and try to make you doubt that. But that's how you know that you got to hang tight with him. And like the minister say, as a woman, you can't miss no prayers. As a woman, we cannot miss any prayers. Because I promise you, every time I get on my prayer rug and I pray for something, he gives me a confirmation immediately after. So I don't miss no prayers, and I'm going to hang tight with mine. I'm going to hang tight with Allah, because I know that hanging tight with him ensures that I keep moving and going forward with whatever gift I have. And it's good to be different. I'm glad to be different. Yes. I pray to Allah that everybody is okay with being different and finding their gift and then sharing it with the world, because that's what we're here for. We're not here for anything else. We're literally here to fulfill his purpose for everybody to get to eventual perfection. And you cannot do that being the same like everybody else.
I'd like to add
Yes,
to that, if you don't mind. What you said kind of reminded me of something I was thinking about in terms of, I was reading Closing the Gap yesterday. And even in terms of, like,
Closing the
I'll just
Gap.
give the example, specifically speaking to those of us who walk in the Muslim faith, right? It's very easy for us to think we should be just like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And yes, we should be striving to be Christ-like, and we should be striving to be God-like, right? But even the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan does not even want us to settle, and it's like, it's cringy to even think of it, but he doesn't want us to even aspire to worship him and be like him, but he wants us to be better than him. Like, when we think of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that is Jesus today in person. And Jesus in the Bible, 2,000 years ago, said, even, greater are these works. I'm paraphrasing, but there's an expectation of, you shall do these works and even greater and even more. And like, there's a misconception that we should strive to be like just anyone great, but walk in who Allah God made you to be. Your personal experiences, my personal, traumatic events, the struggles we go through, that type of thing is what smooths us in certain places, right? That's what shapes us and molds us and makes us a certain way that we connect with certain people. So I wanted to add to that, because I feel like that's something I've even had to, like, really learn, not to just think I should be like the minister, but rather I should at least be doing works as him and growing to do even better in my most unique way, no matter what that looks like or struggles that you may face.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, girl.
Sister Nadia, when she get on that mic, it get real hot after. But when we were talking about, like, the difference within us, and I think about how sometimes we will dim our own light just to be similar or like or get connected to groups of people, right? And when we do that, we change our prescription, right? And in us changing our prescription, we're literally blinding ourselves from being able to see the vision that God gave us. Because the vision that's for us was written in our prescription, and that we would be able to see clearly. But when we start assimilating to people and we start denying pieces of ourselves, and we start getting in other people's circles in hopes of, like, some fake vainness that we have, we're literally running from our purpose and stopping us from being able to see what we were born to be able to see. So a lot of us were like, oh, I'm looking for my purpose. I can't seem to find it. But then you also around a group of people that you hate, talking to a group of people that you don't like every single day, around people. And it's like, how could you ever see what Allah God has for you if you're not even in spaces that are encouraging you to see that?
Look, when you said prescription, it reminded me of, how, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about. This is the Black community, where they like to take other people's prescription medicine, and the prescription medicine is based on your height, your weight, your age, your ailments, and then you wonder why you still sick because you over there taking somebody else's prescription. Take the prescription that he wrote. He's the best doctor ever. Take the one that he wrote for us, right? And what you said, Sister Nadia, is absolutely key, because sometimes we can fall into this rut of, I want to be just like the minister. You can never be just like him, because his assignment was tailor-made for him, not nobody else. Tailor-made. It was tailor-made for him, not you. Now, he is the perfect example on how to completely and totally submit
to your mission.
And then the God pours into you and allows you to move and go into spaces that you didn't think that you were going to be able to go into, touch the people that you didn't think you were going to be able to touch. So he's the perfect example for us to put our eye on, to say, dang, I want to be in submission just like him. I want to be obedient just like him. You know what I'm saying? And then we will be able to get all of the things that he get. But to be quite honest, we wouldn't even be able to put in the amount of work that man has done. We can't put in the work
catching up
that he has done, the sacrifice that he has given. He has given us everything, including his life all these years. And all the God is asking us is to do our little bitty part in the grand scheme of things. And we don't even want to do that. But like I said the other day when I woke up the other morning, and I got 2 phrases: obedience is required. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then he said, obedience is what I require. And he had given me something the day before. And I said, you know what? I heard you. So now you will just get obedience. I don't care if I don't know what's on the other side. I don't care how it looks to people. I don't care about none of that. Because the minister didn't care about none of that. How many times people have talked about him and said things about him and you know, and want to treat him bad and say he doesn't deserve. He does not care about that because his eye stays on the prize. And that's being on the straight path, his path, because his path ain't like nobody else's, just like our path is not like anybody else's. So when he says, when we talk about Allah has 99 attributes, he puts out of those 99, and it's probably some that we don't even know about, he gives us something different than somebody else, and he gives us an assignment to walk into. We just got to learn how to be obedient, which is the highest form of sacrifice, and put some discipline in and walk our straight path, because it don't look like nobody else's. But you can't be nobody else. You got to be you, whomever he created you to be and what he created you for. That is what you have to do, and nothing else. Nobody else's opinion matters. And until we do that, we will not step into our greatness and into our divinity. Because like you said, he didn't come to make us a nation of followers. He came to make us a nation of gods. I'm trying to be a God girl. I want to be a God.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Sister Naomi, let me find out. You a certified preacher up in this place. Number 8, obsession with your. Did you have something to add, Sister Taylor? Okay, I thought your mic went on mute. And I need y'all to share this out. If you are finding any value, tag your friends and share this out to the people. Number 8, obsession with your flaws will often blind you to your dominant gifts. We study ourselves as we stand before a mirror each morning. We rehearse the qualities that discourage us the most. It is a costly exercise. Marilyn Hickey, my longtime friend, shared an interesting experience. She had just returned from China. When I finished speaking at their church in Denver, Colorado, she leaned over and told me this story. China has the greatest ping pong players on earth. So she asked the master mentors of their champions how they handled the weeks of their proteges. They explained they ignore them, choosing rather to spend all of their teaching time on developing their dominant trait or gift to its highest strength. Highest level possible, They explained that if the dominant strength of a player received total focus, it would compensate for any weakness elsewhere in their form. I would say this: if you are not around people that feed you, don't be surprised when you find yourself in depression. Right? Because too often we lend ourselves to people that don't reciprocate what we give. Right? And so we find ourselves on the phone with people. We were high energy when they called. And then when we get off the phone, we got to go to bed because we've been completely drained of all of that energy. And this says, when you focus, if the dominant strength of a player receives total focus, it will compensate for any weaknesses elsewhere in their form. So if you're around people that are only encouraging you to do bad things, that are only talking about other people, right? That's encouraging your weakness or the weaker parts of you. And whatever you focus on will grow and end up outbeating the other. So that's why it's so important that we start not only holding each other accountable, but we start holding ourselves accountable to be around people that are going to allow us to grow, be around people that are going to feed Yes, sir. We still are reading the book from last night. Be around people that are going to feed the good parts of us, right? Because we have a way of focusing on that negative on our own. We don't need no extra help with that, right? We have to be around people that feed us. When I'm in a conversation with Sister Naomi, I get fed. When I'm having conversation with Sister Taylor and Sister Nadia, I'm getting fed, right? And so when you allow yourself to be in those type of circles, it's easy to identify when someone's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot cling to something you haven't yet experienced, but you have to make an intentional decision to be connected to the good things.
Lessons. We didn't care about the poor part.
I think
We did
Sister
not
Taylor
care
and I were
about that
talking about
part.
this. Right, Sister Taylor, we were talking about our experience with what we were detoxing or what even Allah God removed for growth.
Well, I would say first that the first thing I was thinking of is that sisters in general, we tend to just like broadcast and make our littlest flaws the biggest things. Like I've heard it several times today, even though this is just so normal for us to do that because we're so hard on ourselves. Sometimes we harder on ourselves than other people are on us. So that's what that made me think of when you first said that. But if we could really focus on the good, like Sister Naomi is always telling us to focus on the good, then we could really change our confidence levels to be a little bit more confident, and then we wouldn't be so focused on those little flaws that we have.
Right. Like it's good to know that you have flaws and to remove them. But it's just like a plant. That which you feed grows. So if you only grow the uglier and the darker sides of yourself by the thoughts that you have, then that's all that's gonna grow and that's all that's gonna be seen. But if you take that and reverse that and pour into the better parts of yourself, then that'll shine. Like you said, they fed dominant trait that people had as far as athletes were concerned. So we have to learn how to settle on the best part, right? And we kept that part preserved for ourselves, not nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So if you keep that preserved for yourself, then you feed off of that. And the best part is what Allah gave you. The other part is the part that we're trying to get rid of. So like, I know that I have flaws, and when I have flaws, I literally, like I was telling y'all one time, and I think it was the two Sister Taylor and Sister Nadia and some other sisters, but I was talking about when we go on our prayer rug and we pray, don't just do a generic prayer. When it says I confess my faults, right? Name them. What are they? Is it laziness? Is it lying? Is it cheating? Is it stealing? Is it, you ain't supposed to have them gummy bears, but they so good and I'm gonna eat them anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, name what your faults are to the God and ask him to remove them. I heard the minister say one time that a lot of us have done a lot of things in our life. He say some things you just need to take to your prayer rug and take to your God. You shouldn't even open your mouth and voice that to other people because the God came to renew you and make you new. So take it to him, especially when it's parts of us that we're not like that anymore. Take it to him. Ain't nobody else out there but him. Be putting that stuff on display. You would not walk into a store and go get, and this is just me, I don't eat ugly bread. My bread got to be pretty and it got to be uniform. I'm not going to go in the store and pick an ugly cake. I'm going to pick the prettiest one out the bunch, right? So treat yourself like you on display. Purchase the best of things. Settle on the best of yourself. Not saying don't go and, tackle your flaws, but don't be out there putting them on display for folks to see. That's something that should be handled behind closed door on your prayer rug, or take that in the auditing session or something and remove those parts, but don't go displaying that mess. You know what I'm saying? And like Sister Taylor said, our confidence level, because we are so used to, like the minister say, our brain, we were made to think rightly, and anything else that is not right and we think the other way, we think wrongly, then it goes against the grains of how Allah set it up. You can see it on your face. You can see it in your body. You can see it show up in your life. So I settle on the best part. That don't mean that everything is okay every day, but it means I'm gonna settle on the best part, which means that I'm gonna look at it from the lenses of a lie. And like I was like, changing your view on something. Whose lenses are you looking through? Are you looking through the lens of self-doubt, the lens of depression, the lens of self-hatred? Or are you going to switch your view and understand that you possess something that the God gave you, which is your divinity, and then look at it from that perspective? Don't mean we perfect, because we're working towards that, but at least keep your mind on the positive stuff about yourself. And the other little ugly parts, we can fix later. Just don't put that stuff on display.
And that's why what Sister Victoria said about your circle, like who are you around, who's feeding you? That part is really important too, because if you around a bunch of people that's just only gonna focus on the bad all day long, it kind of, like, for me personally, I was struggling with succeeding because of my circle. They were doing so badly that I didn't want to make myself seem like I was better than them. I kept like just suppressing myself.
Will dim our light. Godly.
Yes, we will do that quick. And it's like, man, we gotta get around some sisters that love themselves is like, as much as I love myself. We don't have time to be talking bad about ourselves because we got everybody else that's gonna do it for us.
More than enough.
I like to give
like we'll literally. Oh, go ahead, sis.
No, it's okay.
Oh no, I already heard you.
Get an example, girl. We ready.
I like to think of the example of a plant. I'm an herbalist. I love plants. I love studying herbs. And when you think of yourself as a plant, if there are wilted parts, they need to be removed. If there are dead parts and you want to grow, you got to cut them off.
Yes.
Rather, I had an aloe vera plant once. And it was thriving. I kept it pruned. I gave it fresh, cold water on a hot day. I even made my own compost. It was thriving. And then one day I looked over and my aloe vera plant looked sad. And I didn't know what was going on. And every day it just kept getting more and more somber. And I was like, sis, what is wrong with you? And I realized that my aloe vera plant could no longer thrive in the space that it was in. And it wasn't even about the dead plants anymore, the dead pieces, because I had pruned it. But because now that I've pruned it and it has all this ability to grow, baby, she needs a new space. So if we don't even cut off people, we don't even make the space to grow. So we have to, baby, it might hurt a little bit. The aloe vera was probably like, dang, sis, but wasn't it grateful in the end when I was able to place it in a larger pot? When I was able to, put it around some other sweet, nice succulents. You get it? I'm the aloe vera. These are my nice succulents. I got when plants even talk to each other, right? So if you are in a nasty environment, and you're around other nasty things, it doesn't thrive as much as if you put plants next to other plants. You know what I mean? So I just want to give that example.
Girl, look, you didn't. I was trying not to start with the plants because child could go on about these plants now. But I literally was gonna say the same thing. When you are sinking lower and lower and lower, that you have outgrew your circle. And sometimes our circle is addicted to our pain. They are in pain in their life and they are addicted to our pain. And so that is where we become symbiotes. We're going to talk about plants and botany and stuff, where we literally feed and we live off of each other. But at a certain point, you can't do that no more. And when you feel yourself just sinking down, it's time for you to change your circle. It does not mean that we don't love each other less. It does not mean that we are not friends. We're just going to be friends from afar. Because if you are in a place in a state of pain, and that is the only lens in which you can see things, and I'm no longer in pain, if I stay, you will make me sick. So you got to remove yourself and go into a different environment. You got to remove yourself and go into a bigger pot. You got to remove yourself and change the language in which you speak. Because for those of us that have plants, if you don't talk to your plants and talk to them positively, they do not thrive. And we're just like that, like plants. We grow, we thrive with the right words. Where in order for you to get the right words, you got to have the right friends. In order to have the right friends, they got to have the right connection. And the connection got to be God. There can be no other source outside of that source. So that's what we need to start learning, how to surround ourselves with them kinds of people. And when your old friends say, oh, so you think you better? No, I don't think that I'm better. I want you to come along with me. But if you choose not to come along with me, you're going to be like Lot's wife. Because I'm going to keep trekking forward and I'm going to chunk the deuce. And when you look back, you're going to turn to the pillar of salt. But I'm not going to be a pillar of salt with you.
And they showed
You know
me
what I'm saying? Salty as all get out.
And salt and vinegar glaze. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So, can I ask a question? I want to direct my question to Sister Taylor and Sister Victoria. If someone is hearing you and they feel you, and you know, because I feel like sometimes some of us have this time period where like we know it's that, you know, it's the God in you. We know that we're supposed to separate, but it's really hard. It can be an ex, it can be a best friend, it can be, you know, whomever. Like, we know we should. Like, how can you speak to people who need the encouragement and the confidence to separate?
I was actually just gonna say something similar to that we have to stop allowing people to guilt us into being stationary, right? And having these blind allegiances to people because we grew up and ate the same snacks and nutrition. Like that, it is not that deep, right? And we will literally allow people to hold these small little arbitrary things over our head and really stunt us, because we really be having this difficult conversation with ourselves. Should I go and advance my life, or should I stay down here because I really wanted it to be an us thing? God don't give us visions. God don't give us vision. Sometimes he might give you an us vision, but more than likely, when there's a group of friends, there's usually that one person that get a vision and everybody else try to hold them back. And you guys can speak up if you feel like that's wrong. When you grew up, think about the circle that you had when you grew up. It's always that one friend that make it and the other ones be salty. So while people can understand your vision, that don't mean they got the same ones. And so in my experience, cold turkey is the best way. It ain't no phasing out. It ain't no, I'm going to keep my big toe in the spreader. Cold turkey is the best way. Because as long as you still straddled in the line, it's going to be easier for them to manipulate you back to the other side. Cold turkey, you're going to have some withdrawals for them first little 2 weeks. You know, you're going to have the shakes. You're going to want to call back and gossip. You're going to want to go have that fake conversation, checking in on their family just so you can get the conversation started. But when you in and out, you can never make the proper departure when you're still entertaining it. Cold turkey is the best way. It doesn't mean that you're leaving them. It just means that the place in your life where you are right now, they are not required for you to excel. You could come back and visit later. But if you're in a position in a space of growth, then anything contrary to that can't be in your area, or you ain't gonna be able to grow as much as you should.
Sister Taylor?
Yeah, I have to 100% agree with Sister Victoria. That it ain't, you're not gonna make me feel guilty for my growth. I just got to a certain point, and really it's when I had children, when I became a mother, that I just started changing left and right, and I started seeing my friends staying the same. And honestly, the path that I have been on, you can't make me feel guilty, because I've been through so many different obstacles that I've been able to make it this far. And you want me to stay on the phone with you while you complain about something? Bro, if you knew how much I had to complain about, you probably wouldn't want to talk to me no more. Look, you probably wouldn't want to talk to me no more. But for me, it's just like, it's nothing stronger than a made up mind. And once my mind was made up, it was just like, y'all was just not for me.
Right.
Not for me. But like Sister Victoria said, I still love you from a distance. I still love you from over here, but I'm not about to let you come into this spot in this space that I'm in right now of trying to grow. I mean, because we're gonna go back to the plants. I mean, that dead leaf is just sucking up the nutrients that it really ain't going nowhere because it's dead. So you pouring water into that plant and it's being wasted. So it's just time to clip them dead ends.
So in other words, cut it, cut it, cut it, cut it.
Let it go.
Yeah.
Let it go. And then the other thing too is that it's nothing wrong with being by yourself. I feel like a lot of people be struggling with that. I don't know. Like, I feel like it's nothing wrong with being by yourself. And I had to be in isolation before I found these ladies. Like, yes, a lot replaced the people that I was talking to before. But in that in between time, in that transition time, it was just Taylor. So now I get to really self-reflect and really just look at myself like, okay, you're not your friends. Sorry. You love them, you grew up with them, but that's not you.
Nope.
And I used to always be offended too when people would say like you are who you hang around. And I used to be thinking like, but I'm really not them. So why are you hanging around them then?
Isolation. Isolation. Yep. And you guys tell me what you think about this, but we have to change that language about being by ourselves, right? Because I feel like it automatically assumes a relationship, like we without a partner. But when we say isolation, that's very intentional. And that's in my mind, that signifies like inner discovery. It's not about, you can be in isolation and be in a relationship.
Absolutely. I feel like it.
Go ahead, Naomi.
Isolation is going into the inner sanctum, and everybody can't go there with you. The inner sanctum ain't got but 2 spots, and that's you and your God, and nobody else. And isolation is good because it's your time. And you know what? That phrase, "I'm by myself," you ain't by yourself.
Never.
Nobody is ever by themselves, because it's always you and the creator. When you was in the womb, it was you and the creator. You know what I'm saying? When we go through our life, it's you and it's the creator. Yeah, sure, there are other people around. But when you go into that inner sanctum, everybody can't come with you. They ain't coming with you because it ain't for them to come with you. And you're right by that, being around certain people don't mean I don't love you no less. But when Allah gives you something and he says, I'm going to remove you and I'm going to put you over here. You know what I'm saying? And I need you to sit still. And I need you and me to have a direct connection. And I don't need no outside buzzing, talking, carrying on, none of that. You know what I'm saying? You literally have to submit to that, because that is when you're about to get your breakthrough. I've been there in that isolation period for years. And I'm not even going to lie. I look back on it, I'm saying those were some of the best years of my life. Some of the best years. And I'm telling you, I had people calling my phone. I had people sending me texts, sending me messages. When are you coming back to?
Where'd she go?
Because the God literally gave me a vision that I was supposed to exit the premises. So why would I stay in something when he gave it to me directly and showed me why I should be leaving? And see, sometimes we don't understand why people will not that they cut you off, but people will do a disappearing act on you sometimes. And I have literally learned that when people disappear, it is for a reason. And when they are ready to reach out to you, if you're going to remain in their life, then they'll reach out to you. And if they don't, you only serve the purpose for the period of time that you were supposed to be in their life. And that don't take nothing away from you. It takes nothing away from you. Some of us are in people's lives for seasons. Some of us have been in each other's lives for years. And then when our time is over with, you know what I'm saying? We gone. It's like the gestation of a baby. It's in there for 9 months and then it comes out because the time is up. Some of our time is up with the crowds that we with. Some of our time is up for the circles that we with. Some of our time is up from the type of thinking that we have. Oh, and he gonna put you in isolation whether you want to go or not. So it's just better to go willingly and go into the inner sanctum where people can't come with you. You know what I'm saying? Than to him to force you into the inner sanctum. It's like right now with us dealing with COVID. Some of us losing our mind because we had to slow down. We like distractions. We like to go places. We like the mall. I like to do this with my friends. I like to go out to eat. But yet we have not spent any time on doing self-reflection and self-improvement. And he has literally arrested us and put us into the inner sanctum where you can't do nothing but look at yourself. And if you married, you can't do nothing but look at yourself and look at your spouse who y'all probably didn't spend time with and y'all couldn't stand each other. And now you have to face the difficulty of the problems and the issues that really was already there, but you just kept ignoring it. So this inner sanctum is to grow us into something greater. I don't know about nobody else, but this year, when people talk about 2020 being lit for me, I don't know about nobody else. 2020 is the best year of my life. These 35 years, the best year. It's the best year because I unlocked my gifts, my talents. I cleaned up a lot of junk I had going on. I asked Allah literally for a clearing last year. Remove all of this. Start me over. I want a fresh start. And he gave it to me and I took it. And I have had friends that have dropped off and I love you, but you can't be with me right now in this season in my life. Now, if you come up to where I am, you are more than welcome. But I'm telling y'all, this right here is the season. If you want to get your life together and you want to strengthen that connection with him, go into the inner sanctum, or like they say, the upper room. We're going to go to the upper room, y'all. And everybody can't go to the upper room. What you say?
The upper echelon status.
Yes. For the bougie folks.
And that's so funny. I was laughing so hard because when you was talking about to have distractions, we love to go everywhere but be ourselves. We don't want to be ourselves. We will be with everybody else but ourselves. Lord.
Everybody else working on their talents and we ain't over here working on nothing.
I'll tell you what I used to work on, because somebody ain't gonna say it, so I'll say it for you. You'd rather work on the bottom. You'd rather work on the drugs. You'd rather work on the Little Caesars pizza, and I ain't talking pizza that's showing up at the door. You know what I mean? You'd rather the DoorDash, okay? The other DD, okay? So I know there's a lot of distractions. I'm gonna just call it like it is. There's a lot of ways we like to feed off of every type of energy, right? We need more. We're just sucking life out of things. Gotta stay constantly busy, because the second that I was arrested and I had to deal with myself, baby, I was ready to end it. Okay, I'm not lying. So I feel like it's such a testament when you are finding every type of thing in every type of instance to avoid self. And in a way, it's in the same way you're avoiding God, right? Because if you're avoiding yourself, you can't even deal with yourself. You know you can't. You know you're out of whack with God. You know you can't contact God. You can't even contact yourself. There's an example, and only the nerds are gonna get this. But there's a show called Avatar: The Last Airbender. Y'all seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
For real? Yeah. You know how Aang can go into the Avatar state? And that state is the ability to deal with self. When he goes into the Avatar state, it don't matter what is going on around him. He is no longer present because he is inside. He's contacting the higher God. I felt like that was such a testament to what we have to do. We have to block out everything that's going around. Physical, whatever. We have to get rid of all of it. Like Sister Naomi said, detox. And you have to literally dig in self and face self. So I believe that 2020 whatever y'all want to call this year, whatever, was a make or break. Okay, you either literally in the most corniest way, you either had the opportunity to be a hero or a zero. Either you were gonna save yourself, or you literally, your frequency level has almost dropped down to nothing, because nothing will satisfy you other than literally digging inside and figuring out, how can I rise above to my godlike level. So in this circle, even right now, with these three beautiful sisters of mine, if it was not for me dealing with myself and detoxing all that B out of my life, I would not have had the honor and the privilege to be connected with sisters that are literally elevating me on a daily basis. Physically, make me feel lighter on my feet, spiritually speak life into me. If one of us is down, you better believe all three of us is picking them up. And
Absolutely.
you can't even get around that type of environment because you holding on to Boo Boo the Fool back here and LaQuanda over here down the street, all up in the drama. You are literally killing yourself. So I felt like it really showed the true colors. Okay, are you really ready to change your life, or are you done with life? Because a lot of people like, I'm done with 2020. Baby, you've been done. Okay, I'm not done. I'm getting all that I need to get up out of 2020, and I'm gonna come up in 2021 like, what's up?
Yep. Starting over and not even start, people saying 2020 was the worst year and in 2021 I'm gonna be lit. I'm sorry, but if you didn't do the work in 2020, guess what, boo? Who is entering into 2021 is you. You with all your junk, you with all your problems, you with all your issues, you with all your sadness, you with all your depression. The only thing that's gonna make 2021 any better is a better you. Nothing else. Nothing else. So look, like I said, 2020 been lit for me, and 2021 gonna be even better.
Yes, ma'am. This has been a beautiful session. I have to say, we have about a few more pages left, but I don't think we're gonna get through it.
No, we ain't gonna get through
We're
that.
gonna just wrap it. We're gonna wrap it right there. This is a cool conversation. This is going to be shout out time. So if you have anything that you want the people to know, any services that you want to provide, or just any shout out to social media or something, okay? Just so that people can get connected with you, so people can know what you do, the services that you offer. So, Sister Naomi.
I knew you was gonna come to me first. Well, for those of you all who are not following me at Change Views 19, come on over. You are welcome. It is a place of healing. If you have any questions, you can always DM me. I am open for questions, anything about healing. But see, this is the year that we go into self and we go through the process that the originator went through, which is going into himself and mining out what he wanted to see. And in order for you to do that, you have to confront those things that have happened in your life that you are more than likely improperly viewing, and change your view on it, right? So like I say, if I can get you to change your view, I can get you to change your life. So come on over to Change Views 19 on Instagram so we can get some change going on, right? So then you can have we have some dollars right now, but we're gonna make a little change for some other people, some little jingle. We're gonna give all that good stuff out once we start clearing ourselves up. So if you need a one-on-one session, like I said, DM me, inbox me, you can even email me at changeviews19@gmail.com, and we can set up a one-on-one consultation, so we can clean up some of that stuff and that, that dreaded stuff that we got sitting there that we probably haven't talked about to anyone. But I'm an auditor, so I always have a listening ear, and it's always confidential because my whole purpose in life is to help other women who have sat around and believed that they have to be broke. And you don't have to be broke because the God wants to make you new. So I want to help facilitate that healing because I'm not a healer. He is the healer right along with you. I'm just the facilitator to help you get through it.
Yes, ma'am, Sister Nadia, Majesty.
I bear witness. Oh, all
What
praises
you
due
got
to
for the
Allah.
people?
I am your sister, Sister Nadia X. And you can follow me on all platforms with something with Black Majesty. I actually am the owner of Black Majesty LLC, and my goal is to help inspire healing physically through herbal creations, but also mentally, spiritually, and emotionally as well. And I also offer consultation services for healing physically once again. And I'm gonna send all my clients for the extra spiritual mile, literally next door to Sister Naomi. And also my other sister Taylor X, who also helps with the physical aspect. So all praise is due to Allah.
Sister Taylor.
Fire. So yeah, my name is Taylor X. I am a birthing sister that helps moms to eliminate chemicals from your household by making your own products. I can help provide with natural remedies and information on preconception care all the way up to postpartum care.
Praise be to Allah. My name is
Sister
Sister
Victoria.
Victoria X. My name is Sister Victoria X. I am a work from home transition coach. I help mothers and wives transition into working at home, coming from being at home and working outside of the home. My whole purpose is just to help women build a foundation as they start business. Because a lot of times we get so far into the business that everything just falls apart. And most of that is because we didn't build the proper foundation. We didn't put the right systems in place. And so that's kind of what I help do. I currently have a masterclass that's actually going on tomorrow. So if you would like to register for the masterclass, it's completely free. I'm gonna put the website on the. I'm gonna go ahead and put the website on the whatever you see right there, masterclass.sistervictoriax.com. And I've also just started accepting accountability. I'm the accountability mentor. I have a very keen sense of how to build out courses. And so that's a part of the service that I offer, being an accountability coach, checking in with you, seeing what your goals are, and then holding you accountable to that. So if that's something that you're interested in, I take about 3 clients a week. I'm currently have 1 client. And so go to sistervictoriax.com and then you can sign up to make me your accountability coach. So we have fun with you guys. This is very exciting. I'm gonna try to see if I can get the sisters to come back tomorrow night so we can do this again, and we'll read the chapter in the morning and come back during the darker hours for commentary. And we appreciate you all for spending your evening with us. And that is pieces out. Peace, family.
Love y'all. Assalamu alaikum.